to Angels. This is the weekly reading, the 19th through the 25th. Happy Father's Day to those who celebrate. Happy birthday to the last of the Geminis, and happy birthday to the Cancers that are coming in. And congratulations to anybody else that's celebrating. June is one of the biggest months for weddings. It might be number one. And speaking of that, we're starting with Eat Cake. So people could be celebrating something. Actually, I have some friends that are celebrating their anniversary today. And I think LL Cool J is celebrating his anniversary today, wedding anniversary. Also, I was just made to look at 29, spiritual partnership. No. Romantic dinner. My choice. And outside. I found another guy today. Things just sort of turn up in my house. As did one of these decks of cards, which I'll explain in a second too. Spirit says cocktail, romantic dinner, try again, forget it. Forget it can mean different things. It can mean like leave it in the past, it's done, don't worry about it. Or it can mean like don't even go there, like forget it. Living room. Maybe you're looking for something, you misplaced it, check the living room. Or another question that relates to like where might this be or occur? Living room. And still my choice. So as in your choice and my choice, as opposed to the other person or people that we might be dealing with. With the cards, we are starting with balance, with the Twin Flame Oracle. Yin and Yang, darkness and light. Stay centered in your higher self. Also, winter. You feel out in the cold. Your answers arrive in winter. And I had connected this the other day with the energy of Sagittarius, but also Saturn's retrograde, which I'm pretty sure goes through like November, which is also around the time of Sagittarius. It starts late November and goes into like the third week of December. Then we have home, cozy, warm, secure. You feel at home with each other. Healing, self-care, time out. Be gentle with yourself and your twin. And the next card is in reverse, but it is Twin Flame. Eternal love, reincarnation, passion, twins seeking union. The tarot deck. We are beginning with the Queen of Wands. She is possibly an actual fire sign, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Whether she is or not, she is very confident, strong-willed, powerful in her own right. She gets things done. She's a go-getter. She may be trying to figure out exactly what she wants to go get right now, though, with the Hermit immediately behind her, which represents the energy of the sign of Virgo. If it has to do with love and relationship, which it may, because we just saw twin flames and all those things, this could be having to do with the Hermit in the tarot as it relates to love, whether upright or reverse, almost always has to do with rekindling a relationship from the past. So maybe that's what try again was about. And maybe you do try again and it still doesn't work out and then you say forget it. Or maybe you do try again and something comes up from the past and you decide forget it. Like, let's not let that hold us back. Like I said, forget it can go a lot of different ways. Next card here is the Ace of Swords in reverse. Then this deck is a deck that belongs to my youngest daughter that she used to play with. It's hers, it's not mine. When she was a little girl. And this just turned up out of nowhere too. And it's all these like Egyptian ancient symbols and gods that are on the cards. And we're starting with card number 1, which is Ankh. And then if you turn them over, it tells you what they mean. So they kind of used to teach her stuff. Breath of life, key of life, carried by the Neteru, Naswat, Biti, and the high priests. Ujat, Eye of Heru or Horus, represents insight, and the ability to balance wisdom with action. The next card is in reverse. It is Sa, which is this symbol here. And it is a rolled papyrus, an amulet of protection that guarded against evil spirits, misfortune, and protected the house, home, and family against intruders. Last but not least, with the animal and angel tarots, we're beginning with the Lovers. True and long-lasting love finds its way into your life. Follow your heart with caring actions and choices. So this can actually be about, real love, a true connection. This person not playing games with you. So somebody who's genuinely interested in a loving and reciprocal relationship with you may communicate with you. You may meet somebody, or where things hadn't been moving, maybe you have already met somebody and it didn't really take off right away. Things can start to pick up and speed up now. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. While this may feel very stressful, remember to be grateful for all the blessings that heaven sends you. I will shuffle a little. Overall energy here is now observe, social media, fascination, curiosity, watching from a distance. This could be you, or this could be somebody else keeping their eye on you. It has a strong Aquarius vibe, so... we had this Queen of Wands just now up against or opposite the Magician, and I just felt like she may be conjuring something that could go either way too. I mean, conjuring something could be positive, working her magic, as they say, or trying to work something against someone. Here we have the King of Cups. He is now opposite the Queen of Wands. That means what she's trying to conjure. And somebody's working on love spells or something. Which I don't do, by the way. So don't contact me for nothing like that. I don't believe in, taking people's free will away. A lot of people, divination practitioners do, though. So, and I also don't believe in judging anybody. So do whatever you're into. I don't do that. I'm an intercessor. Anyway, the Lovers and opposite the King of Cups. So some really, really awesome love and relationship energy coming through this week. King of Cups is like a really mature and balanced romantic energy. Wow, the King of Cups, the 10 of Cups now. Just to tell you how awesome this relationship could be. You may meet at or through work. Or, this King of Cups may be somebody you already met at or through work. For others already in a relationship, there's a real deepening and something may be added, like maybe you decide you want to move house or, You're going to have a baby. There's some sort of next level something in here for everybody, I feel. Didn't I say somebody could be trying to work roots against you, though? Wow. And y'all know I don't never talk like that. Well, I don't talk like that often. I try to read the cards as positively as possible. Now we have the devil. But behind the devil, we have the Six of Wands. So again, there could be somebody who's trying to work something against you, trying to block you from doing something. It could be yourself, right? Your fears can sometimes manifest as devil energy. But, you know, you may move beyond them with the Six of Wands immediately following the devil. The devil represents the sign of Capricorn also. Speaking of all the fire and everything, just open right to Ra. I'm the power of creation. I define myself from the pool of infinite potentiality. I am the force that powers the sun. Wow. Sounds pretty strong. That is Ra. See how they're like, the illustrations are done to look like children too, even of the gods. So yes, this is a deck for kids. And like I said, it used to be my daughter's, or it is my daughter's. But my daughter's grown now, so I don't think she plans on using these, but we're going to use them this week for something. I haven't figured out what yet. Now we have an overall energy here of Anpu. I open the way to truth and righteousness. I am the divine guide who will lead you on the path to Ma'ati. I am one of excellent discernment. Let's see if I can kick my phone. We'll have to cut that out, or I'll have to ask my daughter to try to cut that out. And I apologize. All right, so let's get into the card that will most directly represent us this week. Ooh, it's the Eight of Swords. So it goes right along with this devil. Fears, feeling as if we're stuck in a situation, having a situation that we're unsure as to how to get out of. And then maybe we need some help to free ourselves from. Somebody may really have to like try to battle and fight off, like avoid temptation, maybe something involving addiction this week. Cards behind this are pretty positive. Like I said, the Six of Wands upright. Then the next card is the Ace of Cups in reverse. All right, surrounding energy, close friends, you know, things involving close friends, family members, co-workers, and such. We have the Chariot. So there could be a situation involving somebody's car. Maybe your car broke down, or God forbid there's an accident. So you just feel stuck. Maybe you feel literally stuck, like, oh, crap, we're stuck here. We're stuck in this ditch. We're stuck on the highway. You know what I mean? Something with a car. Definitely, like, watch your speed and stuff like that. For work and finance, we have the Hermit. Love and relationship, the Sun. Very nice. I mean, the Sun can be, the Sun is a funny card when it comes to love and relationship, because it can be about your mate or you wanting some time to yourself also, or not wanting to be bothered with with the partnership. But my first inkling about it was that it was positive. Maybe because we also have, you know, the lovers, and we had so many other beautiful energies. Physical health, 9 of Swords. So somebody's really dealing with some like anxiety behind whatever this is, these fears or this situation that has them just feeling sort of locked up. Then there could be a jail situation, an arrest or something. Maybe something having to do with a car also. Spiritual health, the 8 of Wands. So that is positive. All right. Let's dive into this. Actually, maybe I'll leave a ring or two. I'll ask her to leave a ring or two on there so we can see what I was talking about exactly at the time of the phone ring, because that might be significant for somebody, including me. Because I'm also being drawn now to made to like look at the cards and the numbers, like 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have that going on. We have the lovers sitting over there staring me in the face. Then we have this card with the Anpu. It's card number 34 or 7. We have the Chariot, which is also 7. We got the 8 of Swords, the 8 of Wands, the Hermit, which is a 9, the 9 of Swords also. So it's like 6, 7, 8, 9 that just jumped out into my face. Also, when I had shuffled, right before I started the camera, I looked down at the Queen of Wands. So as I was putting the cards down, and I saw the Hermit was behind her, in front of her, near her, something. I don't know. I saw somehow, I don't remember how it happened, but I saw like the Hermit and the Queen of Wands at the same time. Maybe it was when I was shuffling, like opposite each other. And I heard at that time, this is about a time frame for somebody. And I said, so what time frame? July? Which, I don't know, maybe that came to my mind first because that's the next fire sign. It would be Leo, July, because it was the Queen of Wands. And then I was like, and then the Hermit is August and potentially September. So a time frame of what? July through September for who? Meaning what? But now I'm thinking about that again. So just keep all that in mind. Even the Devil, it's card number 15, but it's another 6. This is like the opposite of the Lovers in the tarot. You know, if you look at the two cards together, it's like an inverted version of the Lovers. But it too is a 6, like the Lovers that we have right here. 6, 7, 8, 9, repeated. For one thing, I guess it could be an angel number that we look up. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the Devil, and we'll see what else comes out. So the Devil is a card that can look frightening to some people, look scary. Oh no! Oh, here's another 6 right behind the Devil. It's the 6 of Wands. I forgot about that one. Yeah, looks scary, and you know. It is a card of bondage, so maybe that in itself is scary also. But this bondage, this feeling of being is often just a feeling. Often in our head, it's often metaphoric, and you know, something that's internalized and not something that's a reality at all in terms of actually being, you know, tied up or behind bars or, like I said, you know, chained or jailed or something. It tells us, you know, or it shows up to tell us, like, to look beyond the surface level of a situation, or, you know, and to go deeper into the truth and meaning of the situation. And we're also asked to remember that when we're feeling like sort of stuck and restrained, we almost always like hold the keys to our own freedom, right? It's usually like a prison. So somebody is going to jail, I would think, or is in jail, and something's going to come up, because I keep seeing that and saying it. But right now I'm talking about the prison of your mind. It's like, you know, our own thoughts are what are keeping us sort of at bay. And so it can often be a matter of changing our own perspective and our thoughts it's also important to remember that no matter what our situation is, we almost always have options to choose from. Even when there is like a jail situation, you have, you can choose to have a lawyer or not have a lawyer. You can defend yourself. You hire somebody. If you do get a lawyer, you're going to get a public defender. You're going to get a private lawyer. There's always options, right? The situation in a situation. So first things first is like, don't let other people tell you what your, options are or that they're limited, And if you come to the conclusion, or you come to a conclusion, like be sure that you're coming to it on your own. And that somebody else isn't like forcing you to do what they would have you do or what they would prefer you to do. And I guess, again, I have to repeat that the most crucial thing is to remember that we can free ourselves from whatever restrictions are holding us back at any time we choose to, almost in almost every situation. With this card showing up, we could also have the feeling potentially that we're not in control of our life, that we're sort of like in free fall and other people or factors are in control of our life. Sometimes this happens, sometimes something like that can happen, or we can feel like that as a result of some sort of action we've taken, or maybe because we failed to take action as a result of inaction because we didn't do anything. Now we just feel like things are happening to us and like we're not involved in them. So it's usually best to, if you have a choice, take action rather than inaction, and whatever steps you take are your own and you're in control of it. Even if that's just like making a choice as to what you want for dinner tonight. Sometimes it's about, a small situation, but it's about us taking control of our own, destinies and so on and so forth. So it connects very much to the Eight of Swords. For me, the Eight of Swords is pretty much exactly the same meaning as the Devil, but this is stronger. This is because it's major arcana, and this is so a karmic energy would be the way that I consider it. It's an energy that we are going to have to contend with no matter what, an energy that will be around us no matter what, and what we do have control in. So to expound now on my definition of the Devil that I just shared, what we have control of is, not whether somebody else tries to do something to us or some negative energy is around us or restrictive energy is around us. It's how we respond to it. It's first whether we respond to it at all, and if we do, how. That's what we're in control of. Those are our choices. So the Eight of Swords is similar, but it's something more easily dismissed and ignored than the Devil, in my opinion, because again, the major arcana cards, I tend to consider them like more karmic energies that are going to happen and there's nothing we can do about it. And with the minor arcana, we can sort of maybe change fate, or just completely avoid these things. So the Eight of Swords, again, is about holding ourselves back. Like I said, very similar to the Devil. It could be because we fear moving forward, like fearing change, fearing the future. A lot of people do. Or because, we're afraid of getting hurt, maybe in a new situation. Maybe we're afraid of getting hurt, by the same person that hurt us before. If it's something like, a hermit love situation, like, we tried before, it didn't work out. I don't know if I want to get involved in that. Or maybe based on a past experience, you're afraid of moving forward, whether it's in work or love or whatever the situation is. The truth is the situations are probably, much less frightening than, what our mind is making it out to be. Because if this card is representing us, more than any other card in the deck this week, it can really be about us being just in our heads way too much. But to the contrary of that, the Chariot, on the other hand, is not like a free-for-all energy. This is controlled, dedicated, directed, and that may be what has you shook. Maybe somebody is coming, your way, and that's why you're afraid. Maybe it's an ex, maybe it's somebody new, but you're afraid to give it a shot, to move forward. Now, again, this is the placement of surrounding energy. So it could be something involving close friends, family members, co-workers, a mate, love interest, and, you know, them moving toward you with some sort of offer. And again, you being afraid maybe to move forward. Now, in a negative situation, somebody could be trying to, again, tempt you maybe to use some sort of, drugs or alcohol or something, trying to tempt you with something that they know isn't good for you. Because actually this card, I mean, I'll talk a little bit more about it when we get down here, but the Nine of Swords in the position of health can often have to do with like substance abuse. Other potential meanings for the Chariot, and again, consider the placement too. It's in the placement of the surrounding energy. It can be about being like goal oriented. So that may be somebody that's around you too, or an energy that's around you. Like, as part of being directed and controlled, this energy, this person, if it represents an actual person, who may be a Cancer, because the Chariot represents the sign of Cancer, is like at least fairly clear on their goals, like, you know, their hopes, their dreams, and what's involved in maybe trying to make them come true. It's a card of like determination and ambition and getting things done. It's one of the cards that's a victory too, success, similar to like the Ace of Swords, the Six of Wands, which again we have here. So somebody also in your surrounding energy could maybe help you through a situation, help you to success, you know, give you a ride, give you a lift, give you a pick-me-up, maybe in a metaphoric sense, and help you through a situation that is restrictive or that is tempting for you in a negative way, in terms of the Devil or Eight of Swords. This card can also be a sign that you need to move forward with whatever you have in mind, you know, so like not to second guess yourself and talk yourself out of it because you're afraid. Give it your best shot. And, you know, just remember that that's the best you can do, right? The best you can do is the best you can do. And you'll need to use, like, you know, your intellect, your heart, both. You know, your heart and mind, your soul, whatever, put everything into it in order to truly be successful. And then speaking of being successful, the Hermit for work shows up to say that you are like near that place, that point. So maybe this is where the timing comes in, you know, between now, June, and September. Somebody finally getting the recognition that they're due in their job. You know, this means success and recognition are like well within your grasp when the Hermit shows up in the position of work. So again, do your best. I was just talking about the best you can do. Continue to, you know, stay on top of your game and always do the best you can do to be organized and productive. And this will pay off for you in ways that, you know, may not be clear yet. Maybe over the next, you know, in the coming months. Again, June through September could be when things become clear. It's just about you doing the right thing, even if, like, you know, nobody's watching or you think nobody's watching, so that you're always on top of your game. And then specific to finances, maybe not necessarily having anything to do with work, it's a time to be conservative, as for, you know, where finances are concerned, and, you know, in terms of your spending, any transactions, decisions that you have to make. Not that money seems to be like, you know, your highest priority right now, or, you know, like you're running out or anything like that. It's just the card shows up to warn. It could be showing up because of what's going on, you know, with the economy in general, right? So externally, so it's like you go ahead, you're doing okay, but you hold on to yours so that you can continue to do okay, even if, you know, the stock market continues to crash, or, you know, the Bitcoin continues to go down and you know, and it completely flops. Gas prices continue to go up, inflation continues to go up. You'll still be okay. if you know, conservative with what you have and, you know, careful with your money. If you're investing, you know, definitely try to put your money into the more conservative funds right now. So bonds, maybe money market, or stocks that are more conservative and have like a really good track record. It's just not like the best time to gamble. That doesn't mean that if you're going to a casino to be a dud, you know, you can still go ahead and play and have some fun too. Just, you know, don't spend your savings out there. Obviously, just take, and maybe that's a temptation. You know, some people are addicted to things like gambling and spending and stuff like that. So maybe that's a temptation, and you got to be careful. Maybe you need to get a new car or make an investment, you know, in your transportation. But there's a, you know, you don't have to get the $50,000 car. You can get a $5,000 car. Maybe that kind of situation comes up for somebody. Moving on to love and relationship. Again, we have the sun, and the sun can say, especially if you're in a committed relationship, it can be a time when, you know, you and or your mate, or maybe, you know, yeah, possibly both of you, just maybe like in need of personal space, just in need of space. It's like not a good time to be whiny or clingy or particularly needy. You might get on your partner's nerves, cause some sort of issue. If you're single and looking for love, however, it has a totally different meaning. It means, you know, like love is, you know, on the horizon for you. You see the sun there. And then again, alternatively, for in either case, you know, I do see something about maybe warm climate, being out and about. Well, now anywhere can be warm climate. It was 90 something degrees here in New York yesterday, although it was only like 60 today. I don't know what the hell happened, but yeah, maybe it's about being outdoors, and you could possibly meet somebody that way, or spending time with your mate outdoors. Or if you've been having issues, something could come to light and it'll be positive. You know, information comes to you that helps you, helps the relationship, helps you to become stronger and for things to deepen. Maybe that's the devil is about, secrets that had been out there or between you, but now the sun shows up to shed some light on the situation and what's happening. And again, it is helpful to you. It's not a negative thing. It makes the relationship better. Okay. Moving on to, again, health, which I touched on a little bit. The Nine of Swords can be showing up to say that we need to be careful about our intake of substances, okay? Drugs, alcohol, even prescriptions. We may be self-medicating, you know. I had to try to, you know, be delicate with this. What we really need to do is to get to the bottom of what's bothering us rather than trying to numb ourselves. All right. So alternatively, if you're, you know, whether you're, even if you're not using a substance or, you know, just trying to make the pain go away by having a drink or two, stress can also be taking a toll on you. So if that's the case, it's a good time to look at ways to like mitigate, you know, your risk factors and the ways that you deal with stress. And if all else fails, I mean, some of us may need to think about, like really seriously think about changing our lifestyle and, you know, the things we're spending our money on, the things we're eating, whether or not we're getting enough rest, whether or not we drink too much, whether or not we do too much drugs, even legal drugs. With, like, for example, marijuana is legal in some states, and, you know, many people, probably myself included, don't necessarily believe that it's addictive. That doesn't mean you can't do too much of it. I mean, there are some people who are just stoners, as they call them, right? And that's not conducive to, you know, keeping a job or whatever, you know, maybe taking care of kids or whatever else you might have to do in your life if you're high all the time. So there could just be like a need to change one's lifestyle. this week if we're unable to sort of stop on our own or make adjustments on our own without having to, go all hard and all in. For a lot of people, though, this could really have to do with money or the material. And maybe I don't know, we're driving ourselves crazy about money. It's like, I'm hearing like Onyx, your money or your life, so. Yeah, it's like your money or your life. If you stress yourself out, you could have like a heart attack or something. That may be only for one or two people. I don't know what that was really. Let me move on before I get stuck. But if you felt that could have been talking to you or about you, if it was resonating in that way, and you want to look up the lyrics, that was Onyx. The song's the group is called Onyx, Onyx, like the stone, which is kind of ironic, I guess, in this context. Tarot, crystals, all that kind of stuff. My niece's name is actually Onyx too. Anyway, and the name of the song is "Throw Your Guns." Throw Your Guns, yes. So by Onyx, if you want to look at the rest of the lyrics. Anyway, like I said, I was going to move on to the Eight of Wands and the placement, the spirituality placement. So this one can be about having difficulty with patience, and just really having to like continue to re-experience spiritual lessons because we try to rush through or rush past and not deal with stuff. So when this card appears, it's like a clear signal that we got to be still, and that patience is an issue that we need to work on. Meditation is helpful now. If you're able to, sit down and meditate, which can be difficult for a bunch of us, especially us air signs, because we're always like, a Gemini is always moving. We're from one thing to the next, very hard to like calm our minds and stuff like that. So if you can't sit still and meditate for 20 minutes, that's okay too. Start with 30 seconds, of stillness and quiet. And maybe you can, move up gradually from there. And very often, well, in that way or through doing that, peace will come. You'll find peace, or you'll fall asleep. One or the other. And sometimes that can be what this is about too. There's a need to fall asleep. So these two could be working together in that way. Now, should we clarify these actual cards or do another spread? Let's clarify these actual cards, but I'm going to take them down from here. I'm going to take this away. I'm going to lay them out. And hopefully you'll be able to see them. All right. So let's see from here. No, I took them out of order. That goes there. That goes there. Okay, so let's see from here in terms of the Twin Flame Oracle, what might be causing us to feel stuck and or in fear. Material world. Didn't I say I got all caught up in money here? And I was saying your money in your life. So there's a real focus on money or lack thereof, or dissatisfaction with the amount, or just the feeling like we need more and we're never good enough. Let's see what we get from this deck. The Four of Swords. So that maybe there was some sort of situation, some sort of loss of money. Because the Three of Swords obviously comes before the Four. Maybe there's a loss of money. Maybe we grew up without money. We grew up poor, and that's why we're paranoid about it. Or maybe considering descending order, maybe the Five came before this Four, and people were in competition with us. Other people were, talking down upon us or about us, or, they have more, their outfit is nicer, or we're trying to keep up, we're trying to compete with the Joneses. Something like that could be why we're sort of obsessed, it seems. Remember, the overall energy from this deck is observe and somebody's watching. Maybe that's the case. Somebody's watching, or we're watching other people, and so we're all caught up in this need for more and more money all the time. Let's see if we can get a message from here too. So I can't tell in this deck what's, I can tell what's upright and what's in reverse. So, okay, I'll take the next upright card, which is what I like to do. And it is another 7. And you know what? This was a 6 also. So again, with the 6, 7, 8 type of thing that's been going on. Satesh. So I'm going to presume that this is actually Set, you know, and this, maybe his full name is Satesh, at least according to these people. I allow opposition and challenges to strengthen me. So rather than feeling stuck in fear, I think this is a perfect card for that placement. Rather than feeling stuck in fear, you know, or stuck because we're being challenged by something, there's a difficult energy around us or situation around us, allow it to strengthen you. I am known as the Lord of the Stone Mountain. I protect Ra from a pep in the solar bark. Interesting. So I was saying your money or your life. And obviously if the choose, we're talking about somebody dying. I'm not talking about in the literal sense of dying. Follow me for a second. Dying. And then in this message is sort of like what doesn't kill you. So like if you don't die, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's basically this message, right? I allow opposition and challenge to strengthen me, like not to kill me, not to take me down. Let's try with the position of the surrounding energy. We had the Chariot there. So from the Twin Flame Oracle, what do we have to add to that? I can do the same thing here. I can tell which one is upright. This is the next upright card. Crossroads. Isn't that funny? Crossroads, like roads, and there's a, you know, it's the Chariot, so it's about transportation. There's a motorcycle here. Crossroad. Divergent paths, choices, confusion. Follow your intuition. All right, so that's what you want to do there on that one. And I got all these decks all over the place. The next, this was our overall energy. So this is the next upright card. Was scepter, symbol of power and dominion. It's card number 5. 14 equals 5. Power, dominion, success. So I think that's what the Chariot is about this week. It is more so about success. And you maybe successfully choosing, making a decision about the crossroads at which you're at in terms of what to do without fear. And again, maybe somebody, since it's in the placement of surrounding energy, maybe somebody helps you to do that this week. Did I take a card from here for that one? No, I did not. The next upright card is this one. It's the 5. It's a 5 also, and it's a card of competition. It's the 5 of Wands. Yep, this is exactly what's happening. Occasionally, you may experience clashes with others. If you decide the matter is worth your energy, then do what you can to minimize the conflict without sacrificing your goals or beliefs. And if you can manage to do that, then you'll remain on top and, again, successful. All right, Hermit. Work and finance. From the Twin Flame Oracle first. And the next upright card is this one. Masculine. Masculine. Your divine masculine, your twin or soulmate is seeking you. So I did say the Hermit is about a relationship, when it relates to love, a relationship from the past that is attempting to be rekindled, or that one of the parties is attempting to rekindle and, you know, make happen again. From here, we got the World. So if we do manage to do that, rekindle the situation, it's going to be brand new. So you don't have to have that fear of it being the same old relationship. It is going to be different. So I was talking about the world, and the camera shut itself off. I apologize. But the world is about the end of a phase or cycle in your life. So something coming to an end, and what's going to come next is going to be new. All right. A job well done. This is also about success. Right. So we have the victory and success. Six of Wands, Chariot, the world. Job well done. Joy, contentment, and gratitude. And the path toward enlightenment. For me, the world feels like fire. So I associate it with fire energies and maybe fire signs, possibly. But more so like karmic fire energies. So like Jupiter, Mars, the sun before, I would say, you know, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And then from this deck, we got another 6. Het Heru. I attract harmony and abundance. I am magnetic and draw to me positive experiences. So this is like we're bringing in a new positive experience, brand new. After we've, you know, lived the negative experiences, that phase, that cycle is closing, it's ending, we succeeded, we made it through. Now we're drawing to ourselves positive experiences. I am called the Lady of Love and am a daughter of Ra. So again, if this is about love now, it makes sense that the Hermit seemed to be taking a love direction, even though it's technically in the placement of work and finance. Right? So we're talking about love. Again, very possibly a relationship from your past trying to get reignited, and you shouldn't worry about it being the same old relationship it was whenever it existed before. This should be a new, you go into it with, you know, a new mindset, a new perspective, new eyes, as they say, and you handle it differently, you know, with the new you. You're not the same person you were when you were in it before. You're different now. All right. The sun that was or is the placement of love and relationship, but let's see what the other cards have to say about that. All right, the next upright card here is this one. And it is the Knight of Swords, who is decisive, focused, driven, and impulsive. Get ready for progress to speed up. This situation requires you to choose logic and intellect over emotion and to make your decisions quickly. So this is about a decision that we're making and or that we're waiting. Sometimes we're waiting for somebody else to make a decision and give us information so that we know what we want to do. Also, this may have something to do with a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone like into those traits or attributes. I'm going to pull another one for that placement. And it's the Four of Wands. So the sun is about, again, positivity, information coming to you. Isn't that what I said? Information comes out, a light is shown on something that was done in the dark, it comes to light. The Knight of Swords is all about information coming to us. All right, so it comes to you in this form, whether it has something to do with an actual air sign or not. And then it leads to joy, just like I said, Four of Wands. It's time to kick back, to relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. And then from the Egyptian Oracle, all right. I'm calling it Egyptian Oracle. Meanwhile, this is my daughter's flashcards. When she was little. We got another 6. 15 equals 6. We got Ka. Spirit, the vital essence, the spirit that animates the physical body. So it's like your spirit is filled with joy. Your very essence is just joy and happiness exuding here. Awesome. Okay, Nine of Swords. We started out as our placement for health, physical health. The next upright card is this one. And it is another 5. It is the Hierophant, which is about traditional methods and things. So this can be about traditional medicine or traditional behavior as opposed to extreme behavior, right? May involve a Taurus, right? The Hierophant represents the sign of Taurus. Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations, seek out mentors and like-minded friends. It can also be guiding us to something like an AA, or, you know, Gamblers Anonymous, Alcohol Anonymous, drugs, whatever it is, some sort of 12-step program if you need that, right? It's telling you to surround yourself with people who will understand what you're going through. So whatever applies to that. From this deck, the next upright card is Sekhmet. Some more fire energy. I am the powerful strength of Ra. I am called the Eye of Ra and am his daughter. I bring the wrath to those who embrace disorder and imbalance. This is talking about disorder and imbalance. Doesn't that sound like when you're addicted or when you're using drugs, right? You're like you become imbalanced, mentally imbalanced, emotionally imbalanced, or sometimes hormonally imbalanced, and it is a disorder. So she brings wrath to those who embrace disorder. She wants us to be more traditional. She doesn't want us to. We don't want wrath. So embracing disorder and imbalance is bad, right? We want to be more traditional. And so avoiding those temptations that may come towards some of us. And last but not least, our spiritual health placement, joining the Eight of Wands. All right, next upright card is this one. And it is another 7. The 7 of Pentacles. Seeds well planted. A temporary pause in action. Unnecessary worry. So it's saying we don't have to worry. We can afford to sit down and relax and try to find some peace. But let's see what the other decks have to say about it. So next upright card here is this one. Denial. Repressed emotions, rejection, unable to see below the surface. So that's a good reason for meditation. And from here, Kepler. I have the ability to transform self and circumstances. I am the morning sun that transforms night into day. I can turn a bad experience into powerful wisdom. Wow. I feel like that was perfect for that too. Well, I feel like all these cards were perfect. And it looks like we've done them all. And I'll do one more for each archetype for advice. So this will be for the masculine, the next upright card. Your card is balance. Shuti, the feather of Ma'at, weighed on the scale opposite the heart and judgment. So maybe it's the masculine. Maybe that's why masculine showed up here too, who's having this this problem with imbalance and maybe with some sort of substance or something. And for the feminine, our card is Uja, flame, strength and prosperity, a symbol associated with fire. More of this fire. And that's what I have for us today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it. And if you'd like to stick around, I will pick up my laptop. So I can go over other stuff that's happening this week. All right, I just turned it on. I'm signing in now. Oops. It said my password was wrong. All right, we're in. So there was nothing on the Hebrew or Muslim calendars that I was going to talk about. But on the Christian one, the 24th, which is the day I got my name as a baby. When I was born on the 13th, and I had no name for the first 10 days of my life. On the 11th day, my mother gave me a name, or my parents gave me a name. And that is the feast day of St. John the Baptist, the 24th. So it's like the 6/6. And I'll talk a little bit more about St. John the Baptist. It's also the feast day of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So we got two on the same day. So first we'll do the Sacred Heart of Jesus. For that, I went to www.franciscanmedia.org. Every feast day has a story, and Solemnity of the Sacred Heart is no exception. Often that story recounts not only what we celebrate, but why and how the celebration came about. The narrative of the Feast of the Sacred Heart is fascinating in that it includes not only our faith, but some political and social situations as well. Just as we might view the birth of Jesus as the arrival of God's love and light into the world, grown cold and dark through sin, so we might view the growth and devotion to the Sacred Heart as a response to the world grown cold, though the religious confusion and popular heresy of the time. Maybe they mean through. It says though, but I think it means through the religious confusion and popular heresy of the time. Anyway, the Reformation had split the church in the 16th century, leaving many in confusion. Jansenism was growing rapidly, especially in France. During the 17th century, Jainism, I think, a theological approach based on the teachings of the Dutch theologian Cornelius Jansen, or Jansenism, that's what it's saying, emphasized the sinfulness of the human condition, resulting in a serious sense of guilt, which in turn led to the diminishment in the frequency of the reception of the Holy Communion among Catholics. They felt too sinful and guilty to take the Eucharist. Confused and demoralized, Europe needed a renewal of the message of Christmas, a reminder of God's love and mercy, and a positive view of the sacredness of the human person. Devotion to the love of God had been part of a popular devotion since the early days of the church, and with a few exceptions, the symbol of that love was the blood and water flowing from the wounded side of Christ as he hung on the cross. It was not until the 17th century and the rise of a more affectionate approach to the humanity of Jesus that devotion specifically to the heart of Jesus gained popularity. Due to the work of St. John Eudes, a feast in honor of Jesus' heart was first celebrated on August 31st in the year 1670, or 77. The devotion, and August 31st is also something, I lost it, like 444. The devotion gained rapidly in popularity due to the visions of St. Margaret Mary Alacoque in an apparition on June 16th, which we just celebrated a couple of days ago. In the year 1675, Jesus specifically asked for a feast of the Sacred Heart on the Friday after the octave of Corpus Christi, the celebration of the body and blood of Jesus, which we just celebrated on the 16th. This requested feast was to be in reparation for the lack of gratitude people showed for the loving sacrifice that Jesus made for them, the sacrifice made present in the sacrament of the body and blood of Jesus, the Eucharist. It was as though Jesus was repeating the words of John's Gospel, quote, "For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world might be saved through him," end quote, John 3:17, a message that was very much needed in the world, especially in France at that time. And then this is very long, so I won't continue to keep reading it, but it goes on to explain why the heart, maybe I should read this part, not the whole thing, but just to give us an idea of why it's the Sacred Heart. The human heart has long been a symbol of love. At one time, it was viewed as the source of all human activity, intellectual and emotional. It has also metaphorically symbolized the center of things, such as the heart of a relationship or the heart of a city. It could also represent the character of a person, such as describing someone as having a good heart. So the examples could go on. Speaking then of Jesus' heart carries many varied meanings, all pointing to his very human condition through which his divine love flows. And like I said, it goes on and on and on. So if you want to read more about it, again, I got this from www.franciscanmedia.org. But I'm going to move on to St. John the Baptist, whose story I brought up on catholic.org/saints/John the Baptist. His feast day is June 24th. He is the patron of Jordan, Puerto Rico, the Knights of Hospitaller of Jerusalem, French Canada, Newfoundland, Cesena, Florence, Genoa, Monza, Perth, which is now Scotland, Porto, San Juan, Turin, and many other places. His death, they have 31-36, so maybe they're not sure what year he died. John the Baptist was a contemporary of Christ who was known for evangelism and his baptizing of Jesus Christ. John the Baptist was born through the intercession. Remember, I used that word earlier. I said, I'm an intercessor. He was born through the intercession of God to Zachariah and Elizabeth, who was otherwise too old to bear children. According to scriptures, the angel Gabriel visited Elizabeth and Zachariah to tell them that they would have a son and that they should name him John. Zachariah was skeptical, and for this he was rendered mute. So God took away his ability to speak until the time that his son was born, and then named John in fulfillment of God's will. Then he got his voice back. When Elizabeth was pregnant with John, she was visited by Mary. We talked about this last week when the feast day came up. And John leapt in her womb. This revealed to Elizabeth that the child Mary carried was to be the Son of God. John began public ministry around the year 30 AD and was known for attracting large crowds across the province of Judea and around the Jordan River. When Jesus came to him to be baptized, John recognized him and said, quote, "It is I who need baptism from you," end quote. Jesus told John to baptize him anyway, which he did, whereupon the heavens opened and the Spirit of God was seen like a dove. The voice of God spoke, saying, quote, "This is my beloved Son." I'm getting so many chills right now. I can't even speak. Seriously. "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased," end quote. John instructed his followers to turn to Christ, calling him, quote, "the Lamb of God," end quote. And these people were among the first Christians. Following the baptism of Christ, John's popularity grew, and it grew so much that he alarmed King Herod. Herod ordered him arrested and imprisoned. John spoke with Herod on several occasions and condemned his marriage to his half-brother's wife. The condemnation would be his downfall, as King Herod promised to grant a wish to his daughter. In revenge for John the Baptist's condemnation of her mother's scandalous marriage to Herod, she asked for John's head. King Herod reluctantly obliged. John the Baptist died sometime between the year 33 and 36 AD. So he didn't just die. His head was cut off. Like the saying, head on a platter, comes from this story, because that's what she asked for. John the Baptist's head on the platter. And her father, the king, or stepfather, the king, had it brought to her. John the Baptist's feast day is June 24th, and the anniversary of his death is August 29th, which is ironically my sister's birthday. Like I said, the 24th is the day I got my name, so it's insignificant to me. The day of his passing is my sister's birthday. Meanwhile, our mother's name is Juan, basically. And her middle name is Elizabeth, which is John's mother. So funny. Anyway, sometimes John the Baptist is celebrated with a second feast on the day of his death, his passing, August 29th. John the Baptist is the patron saint of Jordan, Puerto Rico, French Canada, and many other places. It goes on to say here again. We got one more. And that one more is the very next day, on the 25th. So maybe this is where the 6s and 7s are coming from. Possibly. The Immaculate Heart of Mary. So because this is June 25th, and it's on its own, it's a 13, 6 plus 7, which is again a favorite number of Marys, and we just celebrated her last week on the 13th for Our Lady of Fatima. All right, Immaculate Heart of Mary. For this, I went to, where'd I go? CatholicCulture.org. Whatever random page opened up, I just went with it. In the midst of the Second World War, Pope Pius XII put the whole world under the special protection of our Savior's mother by consecrating it to her Immaculate Heart. And in 1944, or 9, which is another one of her numbers, he decreed that in the future, the whole church should celebrate the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. This is not a new devotion. In the 17th century, St. John Eudes, so the same guy that we just read about in the other story, his name is coming up again. He preached it together with that of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And in the 19th century, Pope Pius VII and Pope Pius IX allowed several churches to celebrate a feast of the pure heart of Mary. Pius XII instituted today's feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary for the whole church, so as to obtain by her intercession, there's that word again too, quote, peace among nations, freedom for the church, and the conversion of sinners, the love of purity, and the practice of virtue, end quote. And this was decreed by the Pope on May 4th in the year 1944. And now we celebrate her on this day. And this also goes on and on and on if you want to read more about why exactly we are celebrating, or some people around the world are celebrating this feast. But I'm going to move on to the planetary calendar, beginning with June 20th, which I mentioned to you briefly last week, because at 11:11 p.m., we'll experience the last quarter moon at 29 degrees Pisces, which is another 11. June the 20th in itself is an 11. So June 20th, or June 11, 6, 11, at 11, 11, 29 or 11 degrees. And then we have another 6 too with the year, with the month and the year. Anyway, the last quarter moon Pisces. So I had explained how that day could be another really good day for us, anybody who wants to manifest something and have it come to you as quickly as possible. This would be like another 369 day. So I broke all that down in last week's video to give you a heads up on it so you could plan. On June 21st at 5:14 a.m., the sun enters Cancer, 0 degrees. June 22nd will be the first official day of Cancer. And at 8:34 p.m. on that day as well, Venus, ruler of the signs of Libra and Taurus, and ancient ruler of the sign of Gemini, enters Gemini, 0 degrees. June 25th, the last day for which this reading is, at 9:24 a.m., Jupiter, ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, will be semi-square the true node, which is Taurus. Jupiter will be at 6 degrees Aries, and the true node will be at 21 degrees Taurus. They will be semi-square. But I'm going to read about Venus entering Gemini. And for that, I went to www.tarot.com. Venus in Gemini, talkative, flirty, and curious. The transit will take us from June 22nd, again, the first day of Cancer season, through July 17th, which is my BFF's birthday. She's a Cancer. Variety is the spice of life. And when Venus moves into Gemini, that's how we're going to feel. Venus is the planet that guides our desires, our love lives, and our financial tendencies. So when she enters the diverse sign of the twins, we're presented with a world of options and possibilities. Venus is a planet of the heart, but Gemini thrives in the mind. Instead of clashing, though, these two energies combine to put communicative and intellectual spins on our interactions and relationships. It's not about rolling around in our feelings with Venus and Gemini. The fastest way to a person's heart is through their mind. When sweet Venus enters fun and flighty Gemini, it's like someone turned on the lights We suddenly have greater openness and clarity in what will make us happy. It's about variety and experiencing not just one, but many paths to pleasure. Throw a handful of different flavored pop rocks into your mouth, and you'll get a taste for what Venus in Gemini is all about: effervescent, ticklish, and fun. Love takes on a more lighthearted, cerebral tone when Venus moves through Gemini. Instead of connecting over deep passions or intense physical attractions, we're drawn to lovers who thrill our minds. Communicating through long conversations and playful texts keeps us stimulated and interested in learning more. For those dating, this is an amazing time to get to know someone new and to share stories of your own life. And for those in relationships, Venus and Gemini can help longtime lovers learn something brand new about each other and reignite the excitement. Gemini needs variety to stay interested, so relationships that lack energy or have fallen into a rut may not survive this transit. This isn't a time to commit or to profess undying love. It's about enjoying all the opportunities available to us. Have fun, flirt, and be playful. When we put aside our self-made rules about what we like and what we don't like, we open ourselves to new experiences and levels of happiness. In terms of money, Venus in Gemini encourages you to spend on the things that will enrich your brain and energize your spirit. Things like books, games, or gadgets. If you're in the market for a bigger ticket item, a new phone or laptop can help you to communicate better and connect you with the rest of the world. The key to Venus in Gemini is this: it's not about testing, it's about tasting. It's about experiencing a variety of flavors, exploring fresh ideas, and realizing that life and love are as exciting as you make them. It goes on to talk about if you were born with Venus and Gemini in your natal chart, like I was. So if you're interested in reading about that, then you can, again, I found it on www.tarot.com. There may be a million places you could find it, but if you want to find it there, that's where it was. And that's the end of our reading for the week. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. If you stayed with me this long, I do appreciate it. I'm in the mood to see what is here, though. So for those that left, they'll miss this part. But just to pull from advice from this one, too. So this will be for the masculine. It is the High Priestess joining his card of balance. He has the High Priestess now. Listen to your intuition. Have patience and consider carefully what you want before acting, masculine. This is more Gemini energy too. And this next card is upright. It's going to be for the feminine. The Four of Pentacles, being too frivolous or cautious with money, good business decisions, giving to those less fortunate. We're holding on too tightly to something or someone that we don't need. Let me pull another one. We have the ability to, pull in what we do need and what we do desire. So you can let go of what you don't want or need. And in fact, if you're holding on to it, you often will be unable to manifest. So go ahead and let that go if you're in the market to bring something new in your life. And this is even more Gemini energy here, this Magician. You are ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them, and life is magical. And then from this other deck that we use, let's look for the next upright card here. For the masculine, it is Receive. Open-minded, abundant, ready. It's your time to receive. And for the feminine, Marriage, legal partnerships, commitment, marital bond, and societal contract. So again, I said in the beginning that I felt that things were going to be going to the next level. Maybe the next level for some of us is marriage. I also mentioned how June is the biggest month for weddings. So congratulations for whom that applies. But for others of us, I think it is whatever level is next for us. Even if that means going from single to dating or talking to somebody, then that's the next level. Then that's how that applies. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate it. I'll see you next week. Namaste.